Hello, everyone. We're back here for another episode of our Foreign Correspondents Talk Series 2024, wherein we interview foreign correspondents, current and former, about their lives and about their experiences in the journalism field and just reporting in the United States. And this will be a little different because today I have here with me Leslie Leon, who is one of this year's scholarship awardees, and he will receive this prize at our award ceremony on December 4th in Washington, D.C. The event will be held at the National Press Club. Again, my name is Alan Herrera, and I oversee AFPC-USA's editorial operations. And it is such a pleasure to have you here with me today, Leslie. Thank you for being here.
Glad to be here too, Alan.
I appreciate it very much. Could you just tell me a little bit more, tell our audience a little bit more about yourself and your experience? How did you get into journalism?
Um, well, it's a long journey. I've been working in this field for 10 years. I started with covering medicine and the pharmaceutical industry, and then I moved to medical side. Covered a lot of the healthcare, public health issues, and then I, expanded my bit to aging population and reproductive rights, and also the gender issues in China. Then COVID-19, came. Then I heavily reshifted to the public health side. And this year I came to the US to study at NYU for a master's degree in science, health, and environmental reporting. That's how I started, and that's where I am now.
Wow, so you've run the gamut. You've done a whole bunch of different topics. It sounds
Mm.
like. Do you have one in particular that is a favorite of yours?
Uh, um,
I,
well,
I
I
suppose
do.
with what you're studying now, right?
Yeah,
That's a part of it.
yeah. I mainly, I stand for the health part for
Mm.
this program, and I do have several we can call it without sounding too pretentious, but I do have some signature reports in my career. Um, there are two that have made uh, you know, China changed its policy. One is about the pharmaceutical review reform. I was the first one to report on the undergoing financial crisis within the K department of this sector. And after my report was published, that financial crisis was resolved immediately, and the whole reform was able to continue somehow. And that reform affect everyone in China about their drug access, especially the new drug. The second one, the second one was about an opioid painkiller under secret abuse within China on national level, especially among the youngsters. So my team and I, we were doing well, I couldn't recall how many months we spent, but yeah, we did an investigative report on that issue. And 5 months later, the country listed that specific painkiller on the controlled substance list, which means they cannot be available on the, over the counter, no pharmacies. Starting from then, that painkiller was under very rigorous control. So the abuse was stopped. Yeah, those are the two reports that they were not my favorite because they were also very difficult, and I still have many regrets about them. But yeah, I'll say those two.
Well, it sounds to me that despite however you may feel about them, they of course had, a remarkable effect, right? on your country. And that's that's the difficult thing, right? When you're working, there is this thing. I spoke about it in a previous interview with a journalist some weeks back. Imposter syndrome is a thing, you know. Yeah, we
Yeah.
often downplay, our own achievements. We second guess ourselves. But, here you are, and you have received a very coveted prize from our organization, and it is because you are worth it. You know, it is it
Yeah.
is because you are worth it,
Thank
and
you. That's
of
very
course.
nice of you to say that. Yeah.
Yes, it is because we recognize that excellence. And I'd love to know, what have been your impressions of just, life here in the United States as you've pursued your studies, and how has that perhaps influenced you perhaps personally, or how do you see it impacting you professionally as you continue moving forward?
Um, Personally speaking, life-wise, I think I love New York. That's why I chose to, pursue a degree here. And luckily I got admitted. Um, Life here is free and exciting. Everybody here in New York has something to say about the city. Um, it somehow reminds me of Beijing, but obviously a lot of things are different. Um, and One thing about, since I came here and the school started, uh, I feel like perspective or the current circumstances of journalism, either in China or here in the US, are very challenging actually. And being in a J school and also I'm still working as a freelance journalist. I can feel, yeah, things are not going so great on either side, which was not something I was expecting when I came here. I thought maybe there's more, you know, mm, opt I wouldn't say opportunities, but I just guess, things maybe a little bit better here in the US about being a journalist, about, serving this cause and purpose. But the reality is no, it's not, my peers here, the professors, the other journalists I come across, and also some other Chinese journalists who are now working in the US are saying that the overall environment is challenging, and that's something we need to be aware of, and also that's something we need to work with and fight against, maybe. Yeah,
Mhm. Well, I think, yes, I mean, you're totally right. I mean, we're living during a time where authoritarian regimes, are rising around the globe. There's a higher proportion of them. And with that, naturally, there are heightened attacks against press freedom, against media freedom,
yeah,
and yes, and the United States, like any other country, needs people at the forefront who are willing to defend those ideals, to protect them, to champion them. And that is why our organization, has made significant strides in the realm of press freedom advocacy. And part of that, involves supporting journalists like yourselves, because we, of course, value your perspectives and what you can offer, not just this country, not just the country that I'm born and bred here, not just this country, not just our society, but certainly the world entire, right?
yeah.
And yeah, and I would love to know, this is, of course, it's a crazy environment, like that is, it's a fact. And I know that there are many journalists who are just, they're working hard to meet the moment. They're not backing away from it.
Yeah.
And yeah. So how do you feel about your future in this field? And how will the award that you have received from our organization, how will that impact your future plans?
I think first let me start with the decision to come here to study again in the journalism, which I've been practicing for 10 years. I do feel this is a craft that I can always work on and get better. Um, on the other hand, I do feel under everything we've covered about the challenging situation in the US, in China, all over the world, we do need to say each other as journalists. Although we may come from different backgrounds, from different parts of the world, but we need to know that each other exists. For me, that is very heartwarming feeling whenever I come across a journalist, whether he or she or they are from China or the US or any other countries, like my fellow awardees from the Europe and from Africa. Um, I think the decision to come here and now with this award, I can know more people, especially people here in the US through your organization. I do truly value that opportunity um, because as a journalist, obviously networking is very important, but I don't mean networking, but for me as a journalist, I hope to know more people who are still stay in the front line, who are continuously working on the issues they really care about, to serve the people they really care about. That is just so very inspiring for me. And I do need that. I really need that. I need to know that people are still, fighting for the cause. And even it can be very tiring and exhausting and maybe sometimes traumatic, but they still enjoy it. They still want to do it. And so do I. So I truly feel very grateful of this award and this opportunity. And now we're talking and thank you for, like this is good. This is what I want. Yeah.
I'm very happy to know that you feel that way. I can definitely say that it can be very difficult standing up um, in the face of what are repeated attacks, not just attacks against the media, but viewing, so many colleagues who are, they are tired. They are tired. We're all human, right? But they genuinely believe in getting out there and pursuing those stories and informing the public because it's so, so, so important. It reminds us of the fabric that keeps us together as neighbors, as citizens, as people, right? Though we all have different perspectives and and we come from many different backgrounds, at the end of the day, we're
Yeah.
all we're all living here on this one, on this one planet. And if we have the opportunity to inspire even just a little bit, I think that it's worth it. And I'm so happy that we have had this opportunity to speak here today. And I certainly took a degree of inspiration from your own report. So thank you very much for that, Leslie. Is there anything that you would like to say to any other journalists out there, or someone aspiring, I should say, to enter this field? I would love to know what you would offer them right now, speaking from this moment, now that you are an even more decorated journalist.
Oh, I I don't I could just simply say keep fight the good fight, but but it's difficult. This is gonna be more difficult. I guess the thing that keeps me going um, is I still believe it. You have to believe it to continue, whether, you know, bad bad things happen. Um, just do it when you believe it. If you still believe it, whatever, this industry or life throws at you, I think you will recover and continue. But if you don't, if you cannot find yourself having that belief, then I don't think you should continue because it will be very uh, challenging for a person to continue working as a journalist in this industry with everything going on. But sometimes, yeah, you can just see this as a job. Yeah, maybe that will give some kind of, life work balance. Yeah.
I'm very grateful to have you here with me today to share that
I'm very grateful
perspective.
to be here. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Leslie. And I know that my colleagues and I certainly look forward to meeting you in person when you accept this award on December 4th.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm looking forward to it too.
Thank you again.